Hey guys, Jeff here, Dice Setters. So we are in the process of packing up, and I'll be on the Queen Mary tomorrow, spending the night there, and then from there we just go across the parking lot and to Carnival, and we are going to be on a cruise. I will give you an update next week on how the table was, if it's the same as what I remember, uh, if they had the bonus, things like that. Um, with the holidays approaching, I wanted to remind everybody about mental health. We lost a customer today because he thought life was too hard. He had recently lost his wife in a tragic car accident, and he just didn't turn to anybody for help. The suicide hotline is 988. If you say, Jeff, I just can't talk to somebody about that, you can text them. Same number, 988. Um, it Reach out, find somebody who will help you. As for me, and you've seen my shirts before, most of it revolves around rock and heavy metal. And when you listen to the lead singers, most of the time they're huge advocates for if you know you have, if you know you're having a problem, seek help. Like Shine Down, Papa Roach, Falling in Reverse, all these. Life is hard, we know it, and there's going to be some bumps along the way. And I'd rather for you to reach out to somebody than for you to not reach out at all. This is a shirt a sweatshirt that I picked up. And my thought was, as many times as we're standing in line for something, or if I'm in a casino or whatever, I hope someone, that needs this, reads it. I bought one for my wife as well. But little things like that matter. And I don't think I've ever heard many people talk about it that do, gambling on YouTube. I don't think it's hardly ever mentioned. So I'm mentioning it. Um, this is going to be a little shorter than normal. If you're like, how come it's so short? Number one, I am tired. 13-hour days, I think, since Monday, trying to get everything ready so we can get on the cruise and just go. Um, I was watching the World Series. I know Diamondbacks didn't win, Yankees didn't win. It's one of those things. I was watching home runs, and I thought about this. And I want to use this analogy. My most asked about question, or something pertaining to that, is not really the dice set, is not really the grip. It's what happens between the grip and the table. And I was reading up on this, and it is what makes a home run. You have, let's say, like Aaron Judge, who had the most home runs. There's like a little bit of a controversy over that, for you know the very very early years of baseball, but definitely as of right now stands, the only one that's ever done that many home runs, and that was not this year but last year. What causes or makes him have as many home runs? Is it he always hits the ball super hard? And that's not the case. It does have a little bit to do with how hard you hit it, but it also has to do with trajectory. And that's the biggest key for me when it comes to dice setting. It You might not think about it, you might not, but let me run you through this. It doesn't matter if you do the backward hand swing or the forward swing. I want it to be legal. So for it to be legal, it cannot be higher than the eye level of the stickman. So if your stickman is really, really short, I don't know what you're going to do. Give him a box to stand on. I'm not really for sure. But and another thing is you can't have a bouncy table. If you have a bouncy table, all this is pretty much void. But you want a table that's not bouncy. You're looking for an arch to make it legal, no higher than eye, stickman's eye. You'll also want to make sure that, like a home run, you want to go past the track. So we are going to sit there and call the track 3 to 5 inches before the rubber alligators, I don't know what you want to call it, before it hits the rail, before it hits the end of the table. You don't want to go over the table. That's not good. So we're looking to toss it as high as the dealer's eye. We're also looking to have it land in the field. And if you know anything about baseball, that's just like a gravel road, and that's just how they do it on most fields. And that's what we're looking for. What happens if you go too high? Well, if you go too high, it's going to sit there and land before the track, and you might be disqualified because you did not hit the end of the table. If you throw it too low, to me, the dice have more energy this direction or whichever way you're going, and once they hit, they're going to slam into the back of the table. When I have my throw down perfect, and it is a good table, I'm not talking about a bouncy table, it is a good table, the person that's standing at the far end has a cool 3D effect. I tried my hardest not to laugh, but by them looking at it, it looks like the dice are going to hit them. And they just kind of fall out of the sky and land. So the only reason why they fall out of the sky is because of gravity, yes, but they've lost the perpetual motion of it going this direction, and then they just fall straight down. That's what we're looking for. It keeps your dice from doing all sorts of things once they hit the back of the table. So as high as possible, that way you use up that energy going this direction at the track, 3 to 5 inches, and you want to land, for me, might be different for you, but for me, I want the dice to land flat, if possible. And when this happens, you'll go, that's what he was talking about. Because when it lays flat, it doesn't hardly do anything. There's hardly no movement to it whatsoever. In fact, they don't even crash into the wall. So you have to be very careful about that, because you don't want to sit there and penalize yourself for, well, that didn't count, it didn't hit the wall. But that's what you're trying for. No movement, at least for me. There's some people that want movement. But no movement, high, they drop out of the sky, and flat. And if anything, that they'll just kind of, and that's it. That is what you're looking for. So I hope that gives you a visual of what you're looking for. And if you try it and it goes over the table, it's because your table's too bouncy. Go pick a different casino, or you're going to have to sit there and learn to correct that by less arc and having your track longer. So you're looking at a foot of a track instead of 3 to 5 inches of a track. Hope that helps. Hope that gives you a visual. And again, if you watch them when they're sitting there, hitting, angle, big time. Their hitting speed, or the speed that the bat comes off the ball, hardly ever changes. It's always at least 100 miles an hour. So from 100 to 115, basically. So it's never that their arm really changes. It's not that. It has to do with angle, and it has to do with them landing perfectly. One more thing, and this hurts me more than anything else, is that if you are throwing as close as you can to the middle of the table, and you will see the dice hit and then spread out, you are going to get a 7. Guarantee it, you will get a 7. So to correct this, you want to sit there and either throw a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right. That way, when the dice take off on you, they both roll the same direction, not opposite. But if the dice tend to lean toward the left or they lean toward the right, I think you'll be okay. The perfect thing is straight down the center and they stop. But we know that most of the time does not happen. But the worst thing to do is for them to stop and then they scatter. Guarantee you that's going to be a 7. So to stop that, don't aim for the center. Aim for just to the left of the center or just to the right of center. And that will keep you from sitting there throwing 7s by having the dice split out. But tell me if this has been a help. Give me a like, share, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And again, it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. It just means that, Jeff, I like your channel, and I hope that other people that are good craps players find your channel. That's all it's saying. And wish me luck, and we'll see what happens. And I definitely will have stories for you next week. Have a good one, guys.